Cylinder, fully mechanical. You got no electronics through here. There you go. They need new wheel cylinders. The steering is really bad. A lack of comfortable drivability, anything like that. Tray is super rusty. I've already started with these old style fuses here. It has no clear coat. It's just like a matte yellow. Inside, it's got no seats anymore. I've taken the seats out, and some door cards would probably be good. This is a 40 series Landcruiser, an icon in the Australian four-wheel drive community. Very rugged, very reliable. This one here is a 1982 HJ47, one of the last that was made. They made them until 1984. They have an incredible reputation for reliability. But as you might be able to tell, their reputation is quite lacking when it comes to any sort of modern technology or creature comforts at all, even for the time. It's quite loud. It's very difficult to drive, no power steering, you have no aircon, you lack quite a few things. In the older models, there isn't even a tachometer. Even in the newer models, the tachometer very rarely works anymore. And you certainly don't have any Bluetooth radio, let me just say that. But obviously they're still around today. You know, why is that? Well, I think it's pretty easy to tell just by looking behind me and looking at it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's such an awesome car. But as I said, usually more of a weekender type of car these days than something you daily drive. I know people daily drive them, but yeah, obviously not for the faint-hearted. But obviously, if you've clicked on this video, it means that you're intrigued to see if maybe you can daily drive one of these. Maybe you have one, maybe you don't, maybe you're thinking of getting one, but I think what turns a lot of people away is the fact that they are so old and so difficult to drive. And when I mean daily drive, I mean things like an insulated cab, I mean things like power steering, a radio, comfortable seats, speedo, being able to read your gauges, some speed, being able to actually get up to speed, maybe a heater, or aircon maybe, and most importantly, a roadworthy certificate, because that is quite difficult to get for these cars as well. So that is why I'm here. Over the next, let's call it a few months, hopefully, I'm gonna be taking this car from what it is now, fixing every issue one by one, which there is a lot. Let me tell you, there is a lot. And seeing if I can answer the question, can you daily drive a classic Landcruiser? So let's get onto this one. This one is a 1982 HJ47, as I said. This one commonly called the fire truck because of its mustard complexion. So if you don't know anything about the 40 series Landcruisers, they have a massive history that will take an entire video in itself to explain. But basically, what breaks it down, that tells you what Landcruiser it is, because there are lots of different codes. You might have heard of FJ40, FJ45, HJ45, HJ47. So the way you tell this HJ47, you'll look at the H, stands for the H diesel. This has a 2H in it from the H generation, which you have the 1H and the 2H. It's a 4 litre. J for Landcruiser, they're in all of them. And then 47 means that it is made after 1979 up to 1984 is the 47. Before that, they were the 45. So that's just what this is. A few differences between the 45 and the 47. They upgraded in 1979. Obviously, they moved the fuel tank from under the seats. It used to sit under the seats, so it's now under the cab. So that's one easy way to tell. It has those raised floors. You have the later years in the 80s. You have the more modern dash, so you can actually take that dash piece out. You have a tachometer, and in the later years as well, you also had an option to have disc brakes. I have a 1984 HJ47. It came with disc brakes, which is very, very good because this one has drum brakes all around, and it's not very nice. But they're just a couple little things. Doesn't really matter what you got. They all have the same issues at the end of the day. And issues is something that this car has plenty of. So before we can even think about adding anything in for daily drivability, we got to fix everything first. So I can run you through a quick list right now, very, very quick. Every single one of them has rust in them, unless the rust has been repaired. This one is very good on rust. A few bits in the bonnet, a few bits at the back of the cab, nothing major in the chassis, won't be having to weld up any of that. This one has electrical problems, none of the dash work, anything like that. There's just meters of wires right next to the battery here. The paint is obviously very bad. That'll be at the end. It has no clear coat. It's just like a matte yellow. Inside, it's got no seats anymore. I've taken the seats out. Tray is super rusty. I've already started going halfway through the tray, but there, you got to fix up the underbody. The brakes are locked on at the front here. They need new wheel cylinders. The steering is really bad, but we'll be fixing that because we'll be putting power steering in. Engine-wise, like, it's all right. You heard it start up. I haven't started it in months. We've left it for 6 months sometimes, and it starts back up again. But obviously got to maybe get up, clean the starter motor contacts just to make sure it starts every single time, and some glow plug wiring as well will be good. So this is the 2H I was talking about before. If you've never seen one before, this is what I was talking about when I talk about legendary reliability. But obviously with the legendary reliability comes a lack of comfortable drivability, anything like that. So it's a 4 litre, 6-cylinder, fully mechanical. You got no electronics through here. I can't turn it off with the key currently. I have to get down on the injector pump and turn it off manually. You got a few electronic things. Obviously, you start a motor and you got a heater over there, but you'd be hard pressed to find many wires coming through here. It's a very slow motor, much better in the 40 series. They came out in the 60 series as well. I have one in the 60 series. Very slow in the 60, obviously much heavier. This is a much lighter car, so it is a little bit better, but yeah, we'll be putting a turbocharger on here, and I'll go through that. You got to be pretty careful when you're doing turbochargers on that. So that's all the talking I'm going to be doing for now, and now we've got to get into doing some actual work. This is the first episode, and I'm going to find everything we need to fix so we can make a bit of a plan. I'll get on the whiteboard and sort it out, and I'll run you through everything. There you go. So that's the car jacked up there, ready to go. Got it on the stands. Couldn't have it on the hoist. It was going to be here for too long. Stands will be fine. It's a very minimal car. You got a lot of space under there to work. Don't need to do any suspension work or anything crazy like that. Now that's jacked up, we'll be ready to get in, work through those hubs, get those brakes unstuck. Next, I'll be working on that wiring. I've already made a bit of a start there. Get a couple of gauges working at least. Yeah, we'll work through all those other issues slowly. So yeah, this has been part one of trying to see if we can daily drive this Landcruiser comfortably daily drive. It's gonna be a difficult task, but anyway, I'll see you on the next one.